Well, 16S Infraction's an awesome car, so I thought I'd better make an awesome entrance.
That has got to be the coolest shot.
Insanity rolls out. There can be no other words for my 16S powered Infraction. I thought this car would be quite good. It isn't. It's absolutely awesome. But I will say, getting used to that power takes a little bit of handling, and I have a big confession to make about the power inside this car at the end of this video. Best not be holding anything valuable or something like a drink in your hand that you might drop, because it is quite a big confession, but more on that at the end of the video. Now you're probably wondering, what is the top speed of this thing? Well, when I built this, I basically built it to like have an absolute hoon and to drift and blast around at any speed. The punch level it has got is enough to spin, as you will see, all four wheels at just about any point in the rev range. In fact, you can't give it full throttle probably until it's up to the 70-80 mile an hour mark before it can really dig in and go. And then when you do give it full throttle, it pulls harder, I would say from 70 till its top speed in the video you're gonna see, than it is doing off the line. That pull at the top end, it just goes. Just the thing, just you blink and it's gone. It's just plain ridiculous. Hopefully that will come up in the video you're about to see. Anyway, enough of me talking, and this thing has nearly left me speechless. Me speechless for once. Anyway, let's get straight down to my new test spot and see just how this thing does. Warm up slowly to start with, but this thing doesn't really do slowly, should warn you. So, the Armour Infraction running on 16S, its first outing today. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you love this, what you're about to see today. I brought it out down to my usual test spot, which is actually quite nice and quiet on here. Now, I will say, I filmed this at the end of this session. All has not gone quite to plan, as the car has had an off, but given a power delivery and what you're about to see, this thing is definitely armour tough today, baby. So one of those rear wheels has slightly less strut on it than it started out with. Anyway, let's get straight down to it. Okay, well, time to fire up the 16S Infraction. See if all my hard work comes good. Just going to take it a little bit steady to start with. Now, 52 miles an hour that's on there is not from this car, it's from the HPI Racing RS4 Sports. Parking lot's always nice and quiet until you want to start filming, and then somebody comes along with the dog, but I've got to respect them, so I'm going to zero that. Recording on there. Check nothing's coming. I think that's got quite a fair bit of power, shall we say. Nothing's coming. Come on, Rich. Get it on it. Ooh, man. It'll take some practice. And I'm going to need a bigger area to run with it, for sure. It has got enough power to break loose at pretty much any speed on here. So I think to get that high speed on is really going to take some feeding in. Jesus. That was accelerating like a train. Jesus. Quite possibly the fastest thing I've ever built, or certainly ever driven. And 92 miles an hour on that first run. That was the first sort of full-on run there, but I didn't get it on a full power until about the last 3/4 of the journey. So I think we should be on far with 100 miles an hour today, but we shall see.
Not speeding. Definitely going to need to find a bigger area to play in. It is accelerating on that top end when it's got the traction. And at any speed you want. Like an old nitro car, this. It's kind of what I built it for, was not necessarily top speed, was the ability to hoon like this at any speed. Man just asked me, how fast do you get through a set of tyres? I'm thinking probably one run on these. Oh, that has got to be the coolest shot.
Anyway, guess it's time to take a look and see just how fast the top speed we hit today.
And 101 miles an hour on there. Well, 101 miles an hour there on its first outing. I think we need somewhere much longer. I might play around with the aero a bit because I could do with almost more downforce on there. But have a quick run up and down again. Quick being the imperative word, obviously.
Just remember, guys, if you like what you see today, don't forget to subscribe.
Ooh. You just know that was gonna hurt. Should eased off the brakes and steered, but I let it skid there a little too much. Fingers crossed we weren't carrying too much speed. And more to the point, I hope the GPS isn't lost.
Now this is what you call a lucky escape. You will note the car went between the 10-foot gap between the two telegraph poles. Couldn't have been luckier.
Bit of grass. Oh, thank God the GPS is on board. 101 miles an hour, so no faster. But I was on the brakes for like the last 200 yards. Armour tough, baby. I have to say, I thought we might have hit that wood, which I'd failed to notice earlier. Front spoiler might need a bit of adjustment. Yeah, front spoiler's dragging, but armour tough, baby. That is what we dug into there. I am feeling a little bit sorry for the plants on there. I went off in that gap between the two logs there. I'm actually hitting the brakes probably from about here. That's probably about halfway from there to the car, probably maybe 400 feet to the end of the road on there. So it has got a lot more potential on there. I might increase the braking percentage on the car, although I have a feeling that was sliding as it was. But I should maybe eased off the brakes and turned it into it a bit. Everything I could have hoped for, the ability to hone it sideways and smoke those tyres at any point in the power range. That was what I was after with this car. It's not been built purely for top speed on it. It's built so I can just drive that thing like a hoon. Oh, tyre gone. Look at that. Rear tyre gone. As if on cue. That blows out. Very, very lucky indeed that didn't happen earlier. Well, for its initial shakedown run, 101 miles an hour, not too bad at all. Proved itself armour tough. Was very lucky it hit that gap rather than one of the wood, rather than one of the large pieces of wood there. But 101 miles an hour, not too bad at all. It is spinning all four wheels at virtually any point in the rev range. That tyre had obviously just worn a little bit too much with yours truly hooning around. They were quite an old set on here. I didn't push I've got a fresh set at home, but I thought I'd use these for the shakedown run, but that could have been far worse had that happened at speed. But these tyres are pretty darn tough. if not slightly expensive, if not slightly expensive, as I'm feeling this car will get through a set on a full set of batteries. The Power RB batteries, have lasted outstandingly well. They show no signs of tailing off at all. The ESCs aren't even hot at all. They're not even, they're virtually barely warm on there. Warm my hands up because it's freezing out here in Northern California today. But onwards and upwards. Time to disconnect the power, go and sort that front bumper out, which is sitting pretty low as it was, but looks like we're okay at the front on there. But I will take it home, take the wheels off on the bench, and we'll have a good look around it. But yeah, that front splitter took all of the shock on there. Could have been far worse, but I would definitely say the expression armour tough on there, because even though that was fully on the brakes, it probably still had that thing doing 40-50 miles an hour, so not too bad.
So what do we think? Have your say in the comments section below this video. Does the thing show promise? I absolutely think it does. I've got the braking set on 75%, but that isn't the confession I had coming at the end of this video. More on that in a second. The front of the car, the splitter has taken a little bit of a bump from where we had that slight outing in there. You look at the gap I went through, like an 8-foot gap with two huge tree trunks to either side of it, so that could have been fairly disastrous. So to do a top speed run, I'm going to need somewhere far longer, because feeding that power in, as I said, it takes until about 70-80 miles an hour till you can nail it, and then it just goes, and it's going like a train. I was having a break at the end of that run with about 300 feet to go. You're thinking 300 feet to go, Richie, that's crazy. 100 miles an hour, 146 feet per second. So at that speed, you need to be braking with about 300 feet to go, otherwise you're going to hit whatever's at the end of your run. Anyway, that big confession that I had is to do with the power of the ESCs, and this is slightly embarrassing. They can be set to 400 amps a piece, so a total of 800 amps through them there, and that will give approximately 10.4 horsepower. I have a confession tonight, they're not set on anywhere near 400 amps, they're set on 220 amps a piece, which is about 55% of the power. Or more to the point, the car you saw running today was running at about 55% of the power that it can run at. I'd have paused because even now I'm having to let that sink in. So I'm gradually going to turn the wick up on the thing, maybe turn it up to 280 amps on both of them and see how we get on there. But I'm thinking 400 amps, that thing could literally burn out all four wheels straight off the line. But have your say in the comment section below this video. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see this car running in anger again, then don't forget to subscribe. Well, thumbs up if you like this video, guys. Post any comments you might have in the comment section below the video, and hit the circle below to subscribe. And if you do hit the circle, don't forget to hit the bell.